called Mattox Holland, and I am currently in my 8th year of teaching at Goodyear Elementary. I have served as team leader and as a member of the T.R.A.G.I.C committee. I was also named Goodyear's Teacher of the Year for the 2014-15 school year. After viewing your previous meeting, I've learned I've been placed under an umbrella, a teacher at one of the lowest performing schools in Glenn County. It was expressed that it's hard to wrap your head around the test results that were shared, and that this is seen in the same schools year after year. Many factors have changed over these years: curriculum, standards, intervention, district assessments, and state assessments. One thing has not changed: the demographics in our schools. It is a fact that the schools that you're referencing have a higher percentage of students who are economically disadvantaged. Allow me to read a few highlights from an article, How Does Poverty Influence Learning?, that was published earlier this month. In this article, it just states that substandard housing, inadequate medical care, and poor nutrition can affect the rate of childhood disease, premature births, and low birth weight. These factors can affect a child's physical and cognitive development, as well as a student's mental health, their self-image, and their motivation to do well in school. You say you understand the difficult task that we face as teachers in an inner-city school, but respectively, until you live it daily, you don't fully understand. Regardless of these hardships that our students face, we as teachers have only the highest expectations. Many of our students begin kindergarten not knowing the alphabet, how to write their names, how to hold a pencil, and many have never held a book. In these cases, teachers are already playing catch-up in comparison to other affluent schools. In the classroom, if you analyze classroom pre-tests from the beginning of the year and then post-tests at the end, there's no denying the growth that we see in our students, and that should be worth celebrating. Last year, we took on many interventions. We have collaborated as teams to gain a better understanding and feel that this year that we are teaching these programs with fidelity. We, the educators on the front line, have yet to be asked our opinions of these interventions. We've given our reasons for concern, which have been brushed under the rug as if our professional opinions don't matter. It seems that these programs are here to stay because the county spent a generous amount of money on them. I feel that these programs were put into place to show on paper that something is being done, but now that we aren't seeing the anticipated results, the central office claims to be honing in on the teachers, which you praised. It was stated to the central office that it's time to put your foot down and make sure these people are doing what they're supposed to be. Upon hearing this, I felt disrespected for being referred to as these people rather than as an educator or a teacher. But then I questioned, do they really believe we aren't doing what is required? I speak for myself and my colleagues when I say that we go to school each day and take on continuous discipline issues, some severe, the lack of parental support, and lack of student motivation, yet still give 100%. During these assessments, students play because there's no consequence for doing poorly. Some have trouble focusing, and some can't stay awake because they went to bed hungry the night before. Yet, we are held accountable for these scores. Teachers receive more observations now than ever, a minimum of 6 per year. Last year, we had a group of coaches, including Dr. Whitehead, observe to ensure that Writer's Workshop was being delivered effectively. We were repeatedly praised for our efforts, and now our teaching is in question. Parent involvement and student motivation is not measurable. We can't force parents to help students at home, to attend PTA, or to attend meetings for the betterment of our school. Teachers, parents, and students have to put in the same amount of effort, and 2 out of those 3 aren't being held accountable. If Glenn County doesn't intend to revisit the idea of rezoning our schools for the sake of making them more diverse, then more support is needed. Differentiation is critical in our classrooms in order to meet student needs, so why is it not seen among schools? We would benefit from a second parent involvement worker, a second counselor, a second school social worker, as well as smaller class sizes. This insulting statement was made at the last meeting. It doesn't matter what kind of car you give them if they don't know how to drive it. We know how to drive the car. We just need the keys, and your support and these resources are critical in an inner city school. In closing, I can assure you many are beginning to question this profession. The sad thing for Glenn County is this includes great teachers. When I taught third grade and had had enough of the numerous assessments and observations, I looked into moving to private school where a student's not judged by a test score, and I've considered leaving this profession itself. If you continue to add more pressure, rather than admit that there are other influences on these scores, and neglect to find ways to hold parents and students accountable, then unfortunately good teachers will be pushed away while you're in the process of weeding out the bad. Since you all agree that we're in a desperate time that calls for desperate measures, I invite you to spend time observing the best teaching practices taking place daily at Goodyear. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I felt it was important for you to see the faces and hear the voice of a teacher at one of the lowest performing schools in Glenn County. And in addition, I just want to say thank you, Ms. Metz. Your comment